All right, what is going on, YouTube friends? Welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Fareed, and as a part of today's video, I've got a very special guest from the MELD team, who is Charlie Robertstad. Charlie, welcome to the channel. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Fareed. It's great to be on here with you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and it's definitely my pleasure to have you on here. As a part of today's video, we're gonna just be having a very relaxed chat, just kind of finding out a little bit more about yourself, what you're contributing to MELD, and then we're gonna be breaking down the 25 Days of MELD, which is a series of ongoing announcements right now actually within the community. And then towards the end, we're gonna just touch on very briefly the upcoming testnet and what you guys are doing. So how does that sound to you, man?
That sounds great. Let's break into it.
Awesome. Before we jump into that, if you guys are watching and if you guys appreciate these types of interviews, like the one that myself and Charlie are going to be having today as a part of this video, then please make sure to tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, consider subscribing. And if you guys have any questions or comments about anything that Charlie and I will be discussing, then please make sure to leave those comments down below. All right, Charlie, before we go any further, let's get a brief introduction about yourself and what you do at the MELD project and what your roles and functions are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I got into crypto primarily in the Cardano ecosystem and joined the MELD team back in May of this year. And prior to that, I had been working as an ambassador for MELD. And that was something that I saw as an opportunity to contribute to really one of the first major projects on Cardano that really caught my attention as a user. I'd been working a bit with the Catalyst team prior to that, and was really looking for someone who's building in the space in an aggressive way. And I live in the U.S. and I was particularly disappointed with the fact that I couldn't participate in the World Mobile Token IDO, and as a result, when the ISPO was announced that MELD held, I dove headfirst into it, just stoked to sort of have my first maybe Cardano degen opportunity. But becoming involved in the community as an ambassador was really, really informative. Just a crash course in the ecosystem on a different level than directly with the Catalyst Foundation, and it was really great. So then coming on board with MELD full time, I've had the opportunity to work with the social media content creation, and I'm actually shifting focus a bit to the ambassador program right now, but still working actively with social media and on the content team, which is also expanding. So yeah, we've got a lot of really exciting things coming, and we've got an exciting campaign going right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to talk about that in just a second. It's really interesting to hear how you came into the MELD project. I think there are a few other members actually on the team that kind of fell into the similar position to where like they started off as ambassadors for MELD, and then they were kind of, moved into full-time positions. So it's really cool to see that like the people there at MELD are looking for brand new talent, but they're even considering, members who are ambassadors. And so that's really cool to hear. Now, I will also say, as you kind of talked a little bit about World Mobile Token, I know that there are some people kind of feeling kind of similar about like the public sale for Genius Yield. So I know this is like a little aside, but there's been a lot of these different like token launches, ICOs, ISPOs, public sales, and the US is excluded. How do you kind of feel about that? I know we're obviously trying to be a leader when it comes to the crypto space, but it's like, how can we make progress when we're being excluded from these certain, public sales and ISPOs and opportunities, man?
Here's the reality of it. Michael Saylor just had an interview, and I wish I remembered the channel, but it was in the last maybe week or so. And of course, he's a Bitcoin maxi, but he had a really insightful comment. He was asked about CZ, of course, the founder and CEO of Binance. And the question was raised, is CZ the most powerful voice or single individual in crypto? He said, no, it's Gary Gensler. The whole industry is sort of waiting on him. And as I think about the US, I mean, first of all, there are the practical issues like just the fact that even in the current state of regulation, it's so difficult for US citizens to participate. I mean, even our competitor, Meld's competitor, Nexo, just in the last maybe week and a half ceased doing operations or ceased offering the yield generating services to U.S. citizens as well, and specifically because U.S. sees it as an unsecured, unregistered securities, I should say. But he's correct. I believe Saylor's correct that Gensler is indeed the, for better or worse, and I think it's for worse, personally, not to get political.
Yeah.
He is maybe the most influential single individual in crypto at the moment, at least as far as the public can see. So, we could go on about this, but I have a lot of mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, no, we're really solid response, and I agree with you on that. And we're just going to kind of cap things off there, but I do believe that regulation is needed. Actually, earlier today, we got some breaking news about SBF and, what's going on with him. And so, yeah, I think this is going to definitely bring a lot more regulation into the space. Obviously, some of that is not going to be great for everybody, but I think for people to feel comfortable actually jumping into the space, we at least need something there, right? So anyway, I just wanted to ask that there, and I know that wasn't really scripted, but I appreciate you taking that one. So, all right, jumping back on track. As it pertains to MELD, and for those of you guys who don't know what MELD is, they're going to be one of the up-and-coming DeFi lending and borrowing platforms coming to Cardano. And what they're actually going to be doing is not only providing the ability for users to borrow against their assets when it comes to crypto and crypto, but they're also going to be providing a fiat platform as well. So you'll actually be able to take out loans and actually convert that to fiat, spend that in the real world, and then pay that back and then unlock your collateral. So what I want to talk about next is going to be the 25 Days of MELD. So you guys recently announced the 25 Days of MELD. I think it kicked off on December 1st, actually. But you guys are spearheading and basically releasing partnerships and integrations for the course of the next 25 days. So my thing to you is, like, as the social media manager and the ambassador manager for MELD, how did you guys come up with this particular idea, and how are you guys able to execute it so well? I think we're on day number 12, with I think about another 13 announcements to go, but it's been very exciting so far. So how did this come to be, man?
Oh man, honestly, it was Ken's idea. Ken, our CEO, a super creative guy, and he's a creator through and through. He came up with it and challenged us with that mission, and we've got a great partnership team led by Yusuf, who's really been pounding the pavement, putting a lot of these together. We've been drawing on a lot of the connections that we built over the last year and a half per se, but the tradition guy. The 25 Days of MELD, it's sort of playing on the 25 Days of Christmas. It really is it's an old school broadcasting, TV channels type of a campaign where they would have a movie every night starting December 1st till Christmas. And so we're kind of playing on that theme, and it's a lot of fun in that regard. But yeah, there's some really there are some really key pieces of, I'll say, strategic partnerships, strategic integrations that are paving the way for what we're about to offer as we come up to, well, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but of course the testnet on Cardano, but also going multi-chain.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think that the 25 Days of MELD has really piqued the community's interest. And what I like the most about the 25 Days of MELD is the fact that you guys are staying at the top of mind, right? So it's not like you guys had all of these announcements and you just laid them all in the community at once. The fact that you guys are kind of announcing these per day, I think, is keeping things very interesting. And it definitely looks like you guys are heating up. Now, in addition to that, you guys are kind of gamifying this a little bit, right, with the quests within Crew3, and you guys are also giving away the MELD token. So it's like, not only are you guys giving the community brand new partnerships and integrations, but you're also rewarding the community for participating and sharing those announcements with the broader crypto audience, right? And so that's really cool, and that's really what I've appreciated the most out of that. Now, towards the end of your response there, you also talked a little bit about things being user friendly. I know that MELD is looking to change that for sure, right? With your guys' expertise and your guys' finesse when it comes to user interface and all that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do in terms of setting the standard when it comes to user friendliness within just the blockchain and the crypto space in general. So next, I want to just kind of dive in a little bit deeper when it comes to the 25 Days of Meld and just kind of ask you, what's been your favorite partnership so far? I know we've seen the likes of ADA Handle. We recently had a partnership with Cornucopias. We also had one with a few different like crypto portfolio platforms, but like which one has been the one that's kind of like taken your heart so far? I know there's still another 13 days left.
Yeah. Honestly, the best is yet to come. To a certain extent, although I will say, well, I'll answer it twofold. I really love the metaverse plays. Metaverse is incredibly hard to do, but because of the aspects of Web3 and what we're bringing to, really what I mean, this is something you talk quite a bit about on your channel, of course. Metaverse is going to be huge, and I think that between Virtua, Cornucopias, and Carta Station, I actually quite like those guys. It's a great little team that are actually producing some really good results as well. It's going to be fun to see the integration. So think along the lines of when you're on a website, just in the Web 2 world, shopping somewhere. If you have a PayPal account, oftentimes you'll see these websites that have an option to pay with PayPal, alongside entering your credit card or debit card. Now, that is an integration that PayPal does. Are they partnered with them? Not necessarily, but but enough to actually be able to integrate that payment platform. In the same way, like it's going to be amazing to be able to have your assets and utilize your assets as collateral as you make transactions, microtransactions, whether it's in a loan sort of format or some other format. But being able to partner with these different metaverse platforms is really exciting. More immediately though, so that takes a lot of executional work, and so we'll see those evolve as time goes on and manifest. More immediately, what I am actually like really, really excited about, because I think so much in terms of the perspective of the end user, especially like my parents or someone who's not really crypto savvy. The Web3 auth, so Web3auth.io, if you check them out, that is a really, really cool platform that enables logins, and the creation of wallets using your standard Web 2 credentials, such as Google or Facebook or Twitter, Discord even. Being able to integrate that along with the standard wallet creation process that a Web 3 native is going to be familiar with is going to be it is a really strategic relationship that we're building there. And so, user experience, when we think about multi-chain, when we think about multi-platform, when we think about the way people interact with their assets and the digital world, it's the overlap there where our user experience lies. And Web3 auth is going to be a really key component of that. And we've got some others that are coming in the next few days, next couple of weeks, in the 25 Days of Meld, that will also flesh that out. So, read between the lines a little bit and you start to get an idea for what kind of experience people are going to have with this platform. I'm really excited about it.
And same here. And you actually took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, if I had to pick one of the partnerships that I enjoyed the most so far, infrastructure wise, it would have definitely been Web3auth.io, which I think you guys have announced that you guys partnered with them earlier today, actually. Yep. Now, what you said was exactly what I was going to say, right? Like everybody's familiar with, single sign-on with Google, single sign-on with Facebook. So it's like, imagine bringing that utility, right? And being able to leverage that when it comes to Web3, especially when it comes to keeping track of seed phrases, wallet phrases, and all of these different things, addresses. Like a lot of people that are within Web 2, they want to take advantage of crypto, but they don't necessarily need to know how the sausage is made, right? Just like how you and I wake up every day, we drive our cars, but we don't necessarily need to understand, how a combustion engine works all the way down to the nuts and bolts. So I think abstracting that and giving people the experience that they want, which is a seamless user experience, especially with things that they're already familiar with, right? i.e. Google, Facebook, Twitter, is a really good way to, I think, segue into Web3. So I think collaborations like that are what stick out to me, even though they might not be as big and shiny as collaborations with Cornucopias or as big and shiny as collaborations with ADA Handle, but these are core things that you really need when it comes to mass adoption. So I was going to actually pick that one as one of my favorites. Obviously, I think a given is Cornucopias. That's a project that I cover here quite often on the channel. And so I was really excited to hear about that one. And then ADA Handle too, they're bringing a lot of different features. They're bringing personalization. I believe they're going to kind of be taking that domain route, that domain naming route approach as well. And then it's bringing a lot of additional things to the platform.
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed the ADA Handle team is an excellent team, and they're really pioneering a lot. When you think about coding or building software, one of the most important things is the readability of it, which the end user doesn't need to know about that. But when the more readable you make your code, the more readable you make the infrastructure, the more people have access to it. So even as part of the transparency of a platform, ADA Handle is offering a tool set, and they have plans for even more complexity within that. That's going to give so much power. I mean, being able to put an ADA Handle into the wallet so that you can actually track, so the basic user can go to a blockchain explorer and actually find a wallet, see the ADA handle, and know what it's for. And this is something we want. We're excited to integrate into, the tokenomic, just the different budgetary wallets that we have for the MELD's protocol, so people can actively monitor it without being a blockchain expert, without having to trace this breadcrumb trail of clues and everything. So it's going to be a really critical piece in terms of the scale, the usability, the transparency, and I'm really impressed with that team.
Yeah, same here. I actually interviewed Goose, and I talked a little bit with Conrad at Rare Bloom. I want to make sure I'm not confusing that with CNFTCon, but you were actually there as well, and that's where we got to really meet and hang out, was throughout those two events, CNFTCon and Rare Bloom. But that said, man, I mean, they're very knowledgeable, as you said. And one thing that I just want to piggyback off of what you just said with the simplification of like tracking your guys' wallets and things like that. I believe right now, like your ISPO fund sits in the ADA handle that's like MELD, right? So being able to just type that in on Pool PM and being able to see exactly, okay, this is a MELD owned wallet and this is what's going on in that wallet. Like you said, it brings so much simplicity. So not only, is it huge that people with ADA handles will be able to like use their own personal handles with the MELD platform, but the fact that MELD as an organization, right, itself is also going to be taking advantage of that, I think is really key. So that's really cool there. Now, kind of moving things along in terms of upcoming partnerships, I know that your lips are probably sealed and your hands are probably a little bit tied, but what can we kind of expect from you guys? Obviously, I think, like I said before, you guys are probably saving the best for last, but can you give us any hints or teasers?
I can't. I really can't. However, I will tell you how excited I am. Well, I've said this. I'm very excited about it. And the ones that are coming, I think, dare I say, they're more serious. They're very serious. I mean, in the sense of some significant and strategic relationships, organizations that we're really excited to work with on a strategic level to bring the vision, which has been in the works for like since the ISPO back in July of last year, and everything that we have been envisioning is going from the abstract, going from the planning stage into reality, and it's culminating in this testnet. The next partnerships are going to be very exciting, and I'm glad you mentioned earlier. You mentioned the Crew3, and I just want to double click on that. One of the biggest things that has driven MELD this whole time is the community. In fact, it's all the community. Ken has always said this. We're really nothing without it. From the start of the ISPO, and testified by the fact that, like we talked about earlier as well, the fact that some of us ambassadors, even you, like, just coming on board and helping us with our YouTube channel, which is something I'm excited to see as we go on here. Just a little teaser there. Get more energy behind that, and bringing in the community to the core as a core driver of the protocol. Everyone knows that the network effect is really what makes a protocol. It's from the very beginning of Bitcoin, It is the network effect that makes it what it is. And we are biting off a massively ambitious market position that is a need that hasn't been served appropriately to the level that we believe needs to be served in terms of empowering people, as our catchphrase is, to be their own bank. What does that entail? I mean, it entails education. It entails, of course, spreading the word. It entails community boosting activity, such that they can spread the word, they can start spreading the knowledge. And so Crew3 is a good platform. I mean, we're working with a few different ideas of how to gamify that you'll see come out in the testnet as well. Crew3 is a third party, of course, and it's a cool little platform. You can attach your Discord handle if you go to crew3. So CREW number 3 .xyz. You can sign up with your Discord or actually MetaMask. You just have to sign up. But yeah, we're running a competition right now, and it's just a matter of interacting with our socials, spreading our socials. We throw out these little tasks and that we renew every post. In order to compete for these higher prizes of MELD payout, you just interact, just spread the word, spread the love. And that's something that we're really excited about. But the core of it really is, what can we do to boost our engagement? And why do we want to do that? Well, because it's going to serve all of us. It's going to boost our TVL, ultimately, our user base, and going to provide a really stable economy within our ecosystem. So, it's a huge part of what we're doing. And yeah, I mean, so back to the 25 Days of MELD, same thing, just boosting the awareness of what we're doing. We're really just honored to be working with these groups and experience that with them this season.
Yeah, no, I've got a few responses to what you just said, man. You're dropping a lot of good comments there. So in terms of, the community, Crew3, I think, is an awesome platform. And it's actually very funny that you guys, I believe, kind of went with Crew3, because I think that was actually raised by a current ambassador, right? So shout out to Slem, who actually raised that to the MELD team. And like the MELD team was like, okay, well, let's check this out. And, there are other huge communities from other blockchains that also use that platform, right? So to really see that, like, again, MELD takes their ambassadors and the community's word, and they actually do things with it. That's what I love about that. Like I said, because Slem was able to bring that up and MELD was able to actually take that and run with it. And now there's actually something going on, rewarding the entire community by something that one member who has a passion for MELD brought to the team's attention. So again, really just goes to show that you guys are really doing a good job managing and building a relationship with your ambassadors. Now, if you guys that are watching this, are not already aware, as Charlie mentioned, MELD is on a few different social media platforms. So you guys are on Discord. I'm actually a moderator in there as well. You guys are on Twitter, posting very actively. You guys are also having the MELD with Us series, right, where we have Matt Nash and Victor, who basically host different projects and bring them on to kind of share their platforms, right, every Wednesday. You guys are on Telegram, and you guys are also posting Medium articles every, I think, Monday, right? You guys have the dev diaries, which I believe are actually led by yourself, right? And so you guys are kind of using all of these different avenues to raise awareness about MELD. And I think it's really starting to work, right? And I think that the 25 Days of MELD was kind of like the icing on the cake, because in one of my last videos, and you're probably aware, like, my channel is not necessarily a trading channel where I talk a lot about price, but I'm aware of that, right? Like, we all need to be aware of what's going on. But I've been looking at the trading volume for MELD, man, and over the past 2 weeks, there has been more than $1 million worth of trading volume consistently. Now, we had not seen this much action, and I looked back at the charts, and it wasn't all the way back until the actual TGE, or the token generating event, had occurred, right? Now, granted, we're in the bear market, and we're, I would say, probably closer towards the bottom, right, than the top. But to see that, the MELD token is now getting the attention it deserves is awesome. And I think, again, a lot of that is tied to the community, all the different avenues you guys are updating, and then topping it all off is the 25 Days of MELD. So I'm really glad we're able to talk a little bit about Crew3 there. That was actually another question I was going to lead on later, so I think we'll kind of cross that one off of the list. But kind of moving things along, if you don't have any responses to that, we'll kind of switch gears to the testnet. So
I have one response. The dev diaries, I put it together editorially, but that content comes from our dev team. and they produce it. So it's really, we've got a really cool dev team. They're really hard workers, and it's fun that we've got this we've got this weekly platform to display some of the stuff we're working on. I mean, it's not open source yet, and and that frustrates some of the people, but in terms of the competitiveness of the environment, that's just a necessity to launch. But open source is going to happen. People are going to see this, and so we're excited to do that. But yeah, I got to shout out all the people, all the team, and I'm not the only one posting on social media by any means, so I can't take more credit than is due, but it's just a really tremendous team of ambassadors, like you mentioned as well. I'm glad you shouted them out, especially Slim. We're just grateful that he is so loyal and so energetically active. I love that guy. He's great. If you're not on Discord, get on Discord and make sure you chat and shout him out.
Yeah, for sure. No, huge shout out to Slim. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for managing the Russian community, as well as Nikita or Horace, right? So thank you both.
Community as well. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love it. Okay, cool. So kind of leading into what you mentioned, which is the development team, right? Let's kind of get a little bit more technical here now. I understand that this is not your field of expertise, so if you want to, kind of push anything off to the side, definitely feel free to do that. And actually, before I continue any further, I want to raise the AMA that was actually just had with Ken. We also saw Lawrence, we saw Ann, and we even saw Nahal, as well as Pepe Blasco, right, who's the new CTO. So if you guys want to hear a lot of the technical updates as it relates to the upcoming testnet, which will be launching on January 16th of 2023, I have a fully dedicated video just kind of recapping all of the breaking announcements. Okay, moving over. In terms of the testnet, for you, Charlie, what are your expectations, and what's kind of going through your mind as you guys are preparing internally for the launch of the testnet?
Honestly, I'm excited for the community to get in there, get dirty, and break things. I mean, that's what a testnet's for, and we've got some fun rewards and some gamification around it that we'll be announcing after the 25 days of MELD after Christmas coming up, and building up to that 16th date. But really, this is going to be such a critical moment for the protocol. In terms of the different tasks, the different things that we're going to have people testing out. We're going to have a bunch of test tokens from I'm not going to say too much, but there's going to be some fun interactions involved. It's not just going to be technical, and we'll throw out some tutorials, and we'll be using you to help with that too, for you to spread that word and get people involved in that.
So I was a part of the Akamon testnet, and we were stuck at 6,000 members in the Discord for I don't know how many months, man. And right after the Akamon beta was announced with the rewards and everything like that, man, when I tell you how the community showed up, I think we ended up growing to over 12,000 members in the Discord over the course of a week and a half. So that was a really, really tough time as a moderator, because I would wake up and I would go check the Discord, and it would be ping after ping after ping. But it was a really good experience, because like you said, it gave the community the opportunity to go in there and bang on everything. And as a result of that, Akamon became stronger, the community was rewarded, and the community was able to see what you guys have been building this entire time. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys are going to be kind of undergoing the same process, giving the community the opportunity to earn rewards, while also, providing you guys with information as to how you guys can better improve the process. And, it's not your first time either. So I think you guys probably learned a lot throughout the Akamon testnet, and hopefully you guys are able to leverage a lot of that information moving forward. Now, I also know that you guys were very transparent as it relates to some of the updates you guys were working on with, Trello boards and things like that. So again, I'm hoping to see a lot of that same functionality and that same transparency when it comes to you guys' testnet. And I'm looking to just spread the word as well, man. So you guys can definitely expect videos from myself, tutorials, updates, and definitely if I can land additional interviews with the team, those will also be going online to just, again, spread awareness about what you guys are building, man.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, and if people haven't already followed us on our YouTube, again, we're going to be building that out. We're going to have a lot of different activity, even on some of the let's say less crypto-centric platforms like Facebook and Instagram even. So be sure to follow us, be sure to subscribe, and get notifications for all these different channels, because that's all going to boost the awareness, boost the spread the word, really, which is going to build our community as a whole coming out of that.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually leave the links to all of the Meld social media handles down in the description below. So their Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, Facebook, whatever they're on, definitely check down in the description below. And you guys are going to be able to find how you guys can actually get in contact with the Meld team. Now, Charlie, we are coming up at about 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and just ask you 2 more questions and we're going to wrap it up. Again, I want to thank you so much for your time, being that you guys are definitely going through a lot right now with the 25 days of Meld. So I do want to be respectful of that. So next, I just want to talk a little bit about the future plans and the future vision for Meld, the marketing team, and then, the social media aspect of things as well. So like where do you kind of see things going and evolving over time for Meld?
Growing. We actually we've got a new team member on the marketing team, Tosin, who's in Nigeria, and excellent, coming from the Binance crew, and so building out a education platform, which, when it comes to, there are a lot of platforms that have education. Genius Seal has a great platform. You've got Binance Academy, and everyone's got sort of their take on it. But when you think about the use case of a borrowing and lending protocol, and when you think about being your own bank, how do you know how to be your own bank? What does that even mean? And it doesn't just start with, well, it certainly starts with self-custody and things like that, very basic, all these fundamental crypto concepts that every influencer should be talking about, and they are. But as we scale, like how do you control debt? How do you leverage debt appropriately? What do you use it for? What's good debt? What's bad debt? These different topics also need to be discussed. And we're not financial planners or necessarily trying to be that per se, but when you give people the keys to the car, it's helpful to let them know the best practices on the road, So, and that's really something that we care deeply about. And so you'll be seeing more content coming out in that regard. And, interestingly, as we have both the fiat side and the crypto side, the DeFi side, you're gonna see some more, you're going to see some interesting stuff coming out over the next, let's say 6 months or so. When we start to market the fiat side, that's a different regulatory entity, it's got different, we're dealing with the central banks there. And as a neobank, Meld is not a bank, a full banking license. It's a neobank or challenger bank. There's different terms for this. But our business model requires a much higher level of scrutiny, and that's something that we are going to be fully compliant with. So there will be an adaptation there that occurs, which I'm excited to evolve into as we go. But yeah, as we go, a lot more energy, a lot more attention, and and we want to be at the forefront of the conversation when it comes to empowering people to be their own bank, to really drive this wave, not just ride it, but drive this wave of, dare I say, anti-establishment empowerment. Empowering the little man so that, we're not just, you don't see people just completely obliterated by the big political moves of a large banking entity that we've seen, which is what ultimately started Bitcoin in general. So we're very much in the spirit of Satoshi. We look to stay to that.
I think you guys are off to a great start at Meld, and I think the way that you described the key in the car analogy was very well said. Education is key, and when you're giving people big financial instruments that are giving them the ability to do and leverage things that they've never had the ability to do before, you need to show them how to do that responsibly. And so taking a look at other builders within the space, like you mentioned, Binance, Genius Yield, I think they've done a really great job of setting up these academies, right? Which basically break down all of the abilities and functionalities that they're now going to have access to that they didn't have access to before. So I really agree with that. And just kind of ending this on a light note, I think in terms of what you guys are doing now, trying to top the 25 days of Meld next year is going to be very interesting, right? So like, I think you guys have set the bar very high and you guys continue to do that. So I'm going to be definitely looking at to see like what you guys do next year to kind of spice things up and keep the community active, because at this point, like I said, the way that you guys are delivering the 25 days of MELD, there's a lot of eyes on you guys right now. And with the testnet right around the corner, it's going to be like, hey, you guys are getting everybody kind of like prepped and ready. And by the time that the testnet comes, you know, they're aware of what MELD is, what you guys have been building, who you guys have been partnering with, and who you guys are going to be, you know, working with for the long term coming. So I really like that there, man. It's been an awesome time having you here, Charlie, man. We're just going to end on a very light note, man. If people found out about MELD and they're interested in finding out more about you guys, what's the easiest way for them to get in touch and keep up with you?
I mean, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, we're active on all of those. Go to our website, meld.com, MELD.com. And at the bottom, you'll see links to all of these platforms. Follow us there, join the conversation, join the community, and ask your questions. Let's get involved and have fun together.
Yeah, I will definitely have to say that I've enjoyed being an ambassador, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity to represent you guys and what you guys are building. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video with Charlie Robertstad and myself. Again, if you guys appreciate these types of videos, please make sure to tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, consider subscribing. And if you guys have any questions about anything that myself or Charlie talked about as a part of today's video, then please make sure to leave those down below. That said, Charlie, again, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you guys in the next video.